Hi everyone, it's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon, and I hope you all are well today. I'm reporting live from New York City, but today I want to talk about Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I just got back from my second trip to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I wanted to do a video about what I thought about it after my last trip in October of 2019, but I didn't do it because I didn't feel like I got to explore enough. My phone got stolen, so it threw 2 days off. But just got back from my second trip, and so there are some notable things that I can share. So I just did a video on my other YouTube page, and my other Instagram and YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81 on YouTube, and on IG it's the_body_scientist, where I talk about the food in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So be sure to watch that just to learn some things if you plan on going there, or just to put into perspective like the food system here in the US versus there. So feel free to check that out. But I want to say that, being from New York, I definitely love cities. I love a beautiful city. I love cities that's easy to get around in. And Amsterdam is beautiful. It's easy to get around. There's trains, there's trams, there's your feet, there's bikes. And so it's super, super easy to get around the city. For the most part, I felt safe, except like in the red light district area. I start to feel like there are a lot of men there that are like out to get me, and that's because like when I was there last time, my phone did get stolen by this Italian guy who was like being really flirtatious and touchy. I talked about that in previous YouTube videos that you can check out, but he didn't seem like the kind of person that would rob me, but it wasn't violent or anything, but it was on some sneak shit. And then after that, it just kind of opened my eyes up to the fact that like a lot of people are constantly trying to get me to come over here with me, come here with me, come here with me. And I used to be, I travel a lot. I'm by myself a lot. In my younger years, I used to go out with a lot of people. Nothing bad ever happened to me. There were times in my life when I thought something bad could have happened, but it didn't, thankfully. But now I'm more cautious, and sometimes it could suck because you want to have fun. You want to hang out with local people. For men, there are so many men that travel places just for chicks. And as a man, I'd be nervous about that because girls can lead you to getting robbed. It's so easy for women to lead a man astray. She could lead you right into a dangerous situation. But a lot of men do travel for that. As a woman, I don't feel like a whole lot of women do that, but you have to also be cautious about like meeting dudes and going and hanging out with dudes. I did that in Cuba, and I feel safe doing that in Cuba, but most places I go, I'm like, I don't know, because if this person leads me to who knows where, but I really wanted to hang out and experience more of Black Amsterdam, because one thing about Amsterdam that shocks a lot of people is that there's so many Black people in Amsterdam. The Netherlands, okay, not just Amsterdam. Because I was staying in a town called Warden, which is like a 40-minute train ride outside of Amsterdam. And it's like staying in a small town 40 minutes outside of a major city. There weren't a lot of Black people in the town that I stayed in. There were a few, not a lot. But in the city of Amsterdam, there were lots of Black people. Most of them come from a country called Suriname, which most people have never heard of. It's a country in South America. I also met a lot of Ghanaians in Amsterdam, and they didn't sound like the Ghanaians I know in America. One of them sounded straight up Jamaican. I swore I thought he was Jamaican, but he was Ghanaian, raised in Amsterdam. And then there were two other Ghanaians that I met that they sounded like Africans, but to me they sound like French-speaking Africans. I never would have thought they were from Ghana, but there's a lot of Ghanaians there too. But most of the Black people there come from Suriname. Very easy to get around, very beautiful. When you land in the airport in Amsterdam, there's a train station in the airport that will take you right to wherever you're going. You don't even have to go anywhere. The train is like in the airport. So it's very easy to get to and from the airport. There's a lot of active parks, like in New York City. One thing I love about New York is our park culture. We have a lot of dope parks, especially Harlem, which is interesting because Harlem is Dutch. They have a Harlem. They spell it with 2 A's. They have a town called Harlem, and I want to go there next time I will. It's right outside of Amsterdam. They also have a Brooklyn, but they call it Brooklyn. But when I was reading about it, the Brooklyn in New York City is named after the Dutch one, which is also on the water. And then Amsterdam, like in Harlem, there's an Amsterdam Avenue. Amsterdam Avenue really is only in Harlem. It goes into the Upper West Side. but apparently Harlem means high, what is it? High hill of soil or something. And it's funny because Harlem is on high lands. I'm from Sugar Hill in Harlem, which is like 230 feet above sea level. And so apparently that's what it means in Dutch. Dutch is the first language in Amsterdam. Everybody speaks Dutch, but they all speak English for the most part. Even out in the smaller town, Warden, they spoke English, but if I had to ask an in-depth question about something, it might have been hard for them to answer me. But everything is in Dutch. You know, they had some things that translate into English, but there's a lot of things that don't even translate into English. It's all in Dutch, which is interesting because I wanted to work out while I was there, but every time I went to a gym website, the whole thing was in Dutch. It would have like one sentence in English or one saying in English, and it was all in Dutch. There was no button to press to translate it to English. So with that being said, you'll be fine there speaking English, but a lot of things are in Dutch. And when you hear them speak, they speak to each other in Dutch. They speak English. When you speak to them in English, they'll speak English. But when they're speaking amongst each other, they're usually speaking Dutch. Amsterdam is also a dope place to go shopping. I never would have guessed that. And that's one thing about it that reminds me of New York, because New York is also, you know, it's the fashion capital. It's also a good place to go shopping. People in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, they have style and they have swag, and that's what I like about them. Their coordination. Like, I like when I see somebody, their sneakers, let's say their sneakers are baby blue, purple, and red. And, you know, and then I look and they got a baby blue and purple book bag with a shirt that's baby blue, purple, and red, and the shit is just coordinated. That's how New Yorkers are. Most people in America, I don't feel like are that coordinated. Maybe Detroit people, but most people like DC, LA, Baltimore, Miami, they don't really coordinate. New Orleans too might do it, okay? But New Yorkers, we coordinate. We got our sneaker games on point. We go out the house like a fly. You got on some bright green sneakers, then you're gonna have bright green someplace else in your outfit, you know. And that's how they are in the Netherlands. And they wear colors, and I like that because I personally, I'm not a fan of wearing black. You'll never see me wear black. You'll never see me have on black shoes, black coat, black dress. No, black is so boring to me. I like colors. Colors pop. I like dope color combinations. And so in Amsterdam, they have a lot of, you know, they wear colorful clothes, practical clothes, clothes that are well made, a lot of well made shoes, a lot of well made boots. Like in the US, I never see boots or clothes that I like over here. Everything over here is like ugly and cheap to me. Everything over here is ugly and cheap to me. Like, I moved my coat. I was going to show you the coat that I got in Amsterdam. I had it behind me, but I moved it. But you'll see it in some of my photos. It has fur around it that, let me see. Well, I'll show it to you in the end. So there's a lot of really good, well-made, good quality clothes there. It's a really good place to shop. There's like endless, like, streets of stuff. Tons of, clothing stores, shoe stores. Like I said, well-made, quality stuff. So it's like, I feel like I'm going to buy my winter clothes over there. I don't even want to shop over here. Like, I'll buy my cute little half-naked, colorful clothes in Miami and my winter clothes in Amsterdam. That's really how I feel. So it's a great place to shop. Cards, you can use your cards there. They don't even use cash like that. So as an American, you can use cards. You don't even have to get cash. The weed thing in Amsterdam is that they have coffee shops. So you buy the weed from coffee shops. Most of them close at midnight. And they're everywhere. And they have, like, you're only allowed to buy 5 grams of weed at a time. But granted, you could go to different coffee shops and buy 5 grams here, 5 grams there. So if you wanted to buy 20 grams, you could just go to 4 different places, because there's no monitoring of that. But they can't sell you more than 5 grams at a time. They don't have as many variations of weed that you would find in the U.S. if you go to a dispensary. And there, like, technically weed is not legal in the Netherlands, but it's legal for you to smoke it inside the coffee shops, but not outside and stuff like that. Even though I think it's pretty decriminalized, but technically it's not legal. So whereas it's not legal to grow plants and stuff, but depending on how many plants if you get caught growing plants, your penalties depends on how many plants you're growing. But the penalties aren't that bad. They're not that harsh. They're not going to send you to jail. It's like you have 0 to 5 plants, they might confiscate it. You got more than that, fines, and the fines go up, but it's not that bad. But technically it's not legal. They don't have medicinal marijuana. So you might have seen, I have videos on YouTube where I talk about the medicinal properties of the oil especially. So when people are using marijuana medicinally, They either need larger quantities, or sometimes they need topical oils. They may need tinctures. They may need wax. I work with clients with that. And if that's something you're interested in finding more about, check out my YouTube videos about it on this page and my other page. But for somebody who's using weed medicinally, you have a problem because it's very limited in that way. They just really have recreational weed, and it's limited how much you can get at once. And but the one difference is that you smoke in the coffee shops, which is can be at first a little weird, but it's also a good way to meet people, because I've met some cool people in Amsterdam from sitting there and just talking, shooting the shit. But in the U.S., you go to a dispensary, you buy weed and you leave. You don't sit there and smoke and talk. So that's the difference between how it works. But they're very tolerable. It's a very physically active country, very easy to get around. Physical activity is ingrained in the culture, and I talk more about that. I talked about that in my previous YouTube video that I just did on the nutrition and food in Amsterdam. I also talk about how physical activity is ingrained in their culture, and that's something that I find to be really good. So definitely check out that video, because I don't want to repeat all that stuff. And then, let me see. I don't think that their food is that great, though. I don't think their food, to me, I think that American food is so much better than Dutch food. It's very simple. They eat like a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers, which I love. Not hot dogs, hamburgers and fries. And I love a good cheeseburger, but they have no variation and stuff. It's like the same menu everywhere. They eat mayonnaise with their fries. Which I find to be kind of weird. So I get into that in my other YouTube video as well with the food. I don't think that the food is the greatest. But it is a beautiful city, very diverse, a lot of fly black people. Their swag reminds me of New York. Like I feel like I'm in Brooklyn or something. And I like that. I like the diversity. You see that diverse groups of friends. And so I really, it's a country, like, I want to explore more of the Netherlands, not just Amsterdam. I want to go to Rotterdam next. So I plan on going back in the spring probably, again, because I never thought that, I went to Europe because I was interested in the food. Never thought that I would fall in love with other things. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to say. Yeah, well, I would get into the food, but I talked about that already. And so I'm just gonna let you guys go. And if I think of anything else that I forgot to mention in this video, I guess I'll do another video. But if you have not been to Amsterdam, definitely, or the Netherlands, definitely visit it. And if you have been, please tell me what you think of it. Right now I'm on IG, but I'm going to post this video onto my YouTube page, The Renaissance Amazon. So on that page, you guys can write any comments you have that you want to share, because sharing is caring. That's how we learn, and I can't wait to go back and share more with you guys, okay? So have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye.